Hello and welcome back to another episode of How to Hero. Today's episode, the Rose. Ready, set, let's go. The Rose is one of the four plant classes introduced in Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. So as such, her abilities are a little bit less pizzazz. However, the Rose is one of the more interesting classes to deal with, and I'll have to play a few games on Herbal Assault to get really intricate with her details. Well, we're not taking the cannon today, so let's just get right into the Rose's abilities. The Rose's primary weapon is the Magic Thistles, a one-like attack that, while the crosshairs are red, will home on to whatever unlucky target is in its range. This thing varies in damage, dealing anything between 9, 7, and 12 damage. The L1 is the Time Snare. Any bugger unlucky enough to get caught in this thing is slowed to a crawl. Some classes that are slow enough as it is can barely move while caught up in the Time Snare. Your R1 is the Goatify. This is the trademark. The Goatify, if it hits a zombie, will transform them into a goat. You can Goatify multiple targets at once for maximum carnage. And your triangle is the Arcane Enigma. Use it to get out of fights or deal 20 damage by using your fire button to deal maximum carnage. The Rose plays a support role, surprisingly, despite what everything I've just told you making her seem like a really massive powerhouse. I'm gonna have to show you, but I can't go into multi. The Rose was designed mechanically to be the counter to the Engineer, introduced in Garden Warfare 1. I'm going to be doing this on Zombopolis, so I'm not going to be getting very far. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into Herbal Assault Zombopolis. There's big trouble in not so little Zombopolis. The plants must stop the zombies from launching Zombot into battle before it's too late. Now, the Rose variants I will be touching on later, but we're just jumping into the gun. See that? That is your introduction to teleporters. There's only one other class that can make teleporters, and they are on the zombie side. Yeah, I know. As a Rose, your priority is getting the teleporter up and running and its defenses going as soon as possible. You will get the most amount of experience, and you will definitely get these classes mastered the easiest if you're good at playing them. Use your abilities not to help you fight, but to help you get to where you need to go. You have only 125 health. Savor it. Anyone else that is lucky enough to come around and help you will be your best friend. Roses are interesting characters. A lot of Roses fall into the trap of not knowing how their weapon works. The thing is automatic, so you can spam it into choke points, but your priority is dealing with the classes that are already on low health. If you get unlucky enough to get caught with your pants down on low health, use Arcane Enigma to get out of fights. You have 3 seconds to get out of the fight. However, as a Battle Rose, I generally just get the teleporter up, get the defenses up, and let's do this how I want to do this. Let's discuss counters, because I know people love it when I talk about counters. Imp. You absolutely annihilate imps. As long as they're in your crosshairs, you will hit them. Or your money back. Although not generally what one would consider a flank, Rose can technically work as a flank class. The other thing Roses do blindly well is getting classes to move. Remember, Goatify throws every rooted zombie out of whatever they're currently rooted in. So if something's harassing you at a distance, use Goatify. However, there are times where you just need to get out of a situation. Use Arcane Enigma to drop back with the rest of your team. There ain't no shame in doing it. In fact, dropping back with your team is actually the better way to use a Rose. while technically considered a support, the Rose doesn't get the same benefits as the Sunflower. You can't revive people faster. This doesn't mean you shouldn't revive people. God, if you can revive people, try. But play back. Your homing ability works surprisingly well at distance. But if your crosshairs are red, spam it in a choke point. You're gonna get a kill. If you can hit a shot, if you can hit shots, Gotify and Time Snare are going to become your best friends. You can use Arcane Enigma to deal damage, about 20 damage a tick. Use this to get into places where you would be unexpected, and then use that unexpectedness to get your team up and back into fights. Now the counters. Oh boy, counters. This is the Rose has the biggest counter. Because she's so frail and she's so easily knocked around, Captain Deadbeard destroys the Rose in most head-to-head engagements. Deadbeard destroys almost everything in most engagements, but it's even more prominent with such ridiculous measures. You do pretty good damage against the bots. Just keep that in mind. If you struggle to hit imps, Time Snare. They can't get out of situations while in the Time Snare. And you can even use Arcane Enigma to damage tank. Although it isn't recommended, damage tanking is something that can be done. But every time you capture a point on turf, you need to be one of the first to get moving to that next teleporter. Especially if there are multiple Roses. Even though some Roses might not know what the teleporter is, they will definitely go to it. And if you're the one that gets you're the one that'll get the XP for leading your team into a fight. Variants, because I haven't touched on the variants yet, I will quickly go over the variants. Fire Rose and Frost Rose use a charge shot instead of the auto aim. I mean, so does Necrose, but Necrose is the Battle Rose. You know, like there's always a variant of the support class, which is just disgusting at dealing damage. Yeah, that's Necrose. However, I think this is the first time. Yeah, legendary variants. Legendary variants I will touch on more in the variants list more than here, but legendary variants are very rare on some characters, but some characters are lucky enough to get 2. Not every character has it, so if a character does have it, I will take a special attention to it, because it is not common at all to see. Next thing worth noting, keep an eye on your teleporter's health. If it's running low, well, if your teleporter's health is running low, that means that something's getting too close to it. Some people will make a note of going to try and destroy your teleporters. If you see someone doing it, go in and attempt to murder them. In other news, uplink bots got a really big buff. Bots are the bane of my existence. To mention the 2 alternate abilities that you can get for the Rose. To start with, the Rose can get the Psychedelic Goat as a replacement for the Gotify, where they lose the ability to actually see, they lose the ability to move, and Arcane Enigma can be replaced with the more supportive based Arcane Ludus. It doesn't mean much, but it's certainly helpful. The Arcane Lotus is actually probably one of the better Rux abilities, because it got buffed so it could do more. Yeah, it's damn good. I don't know exactly what it does, but apparently it's like the meta. God damn. Pocketing a rose is like, it's risky. Risky as all hell. Blow me down if it isn't effective. I need to go. I also need to get out of the way of this beam. Oh, go away, will you? Go away. The only thing I'd change about the rose, if I could change anything, and I don't normally want to change the basic characters too much, as I think they're the most perfect version of the characters, but the only thing I'd change is I would give a slight increase in the ammo that the rose has in the magic thistles. I don't think 20 is enough, but I think that 30 is too much. Maybe 25 in a clip would be the best amount. Now, a thing that is always worth noting is that you always want to watch who is in the sky. Because you will get absolutely destroyed. There is a sunflower doing just, if there's a soldier on the roof doing just about anything, you will get destroyed. It's how it works. However, damn. Damn. Now, in my opinion, you can never have enough foot soldier. Because, yeah, foot soldiers are one of the more commonly played classes, so you will be absolutely harassed by them. The bunny hop. Now, like I can mention here, you need to watch for what bots are where. And if you see that particle, run. And also go check the bots in the area. This is the first time I have to really mention it. But that is the calling card of the dreaded uplink bot. The plants have their own version of it, but the uplink bot is devastating. So check all the bot panels to see if there are any uplink bots. Uplink bots have some pretty wacky range. And so what I actually do is use Arcane Enigma to go survey the bots and see if you can find them. Because this thing needs to get out. Watch out. Because that might happen. Oh, the bloody uplink bot! Oh well. What can you do? But that is gonna do it for the How to Hero on the Rose. Let me just pull up the list to see who the next one is. The next is the Corn. Oh. And this is gonna be the final in the long streak of plants. Thank you so much for watching. Stay idiotic, and I'll see you later. Ta-ta!